Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Ford competition that's coming for Tesla. Yeah, I had some air quotes there. Why is that? Well, because in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of Ford CEO Jim Farley, they are far away from Tesla, and it's really no competition. So that's what today's episode is going to be about. We're going to take a look at some quotes directly from Jim Farley, and we'll get an idea of where not only Ford, but I think this can translate to other OEMs as well, and where they stand in comparison to Tesla. So for all those naysayers out there, for all those ultra bulls when it comes to Tesla, this may be something that grounds us and just gives yet another anecdote, another little insight into where the competition may really be in the bigger picture of competition when it comes to Tesla specifically. All right, with that said, don't forget, we do have a merch store. We got some cool stuff. You can see it here, and you can find a link down below in the description. And as always, don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's get into it. Before we get into today's main content, looking at some quotes from Jim Farley in this interview, I just want to give a quick update on two things. I promise this won't take long. One, I wanted to touch base with all of you, all my friends from Ukraine. Last I told you, they're trying to get my friend's wife, her mom and sister are from Eastern Ukraine. They live there. They were able late yesterday evening or last night, they were able to get on a train to get to Western Ukraine, and then they were going to face the obstacle of getting to the Polish border. So from that perspective, it seems like there's some good signs. It looks like both her mother and her sister were able to board a train that's headed towards Poland. But right now, there's a lot of chaos with the train itself because as right now in Ukraine, they're mandating every male 18 and up, or 18 to 30, I don't know what the range is, but to essentially serve like an enlisting into the military there in Ukraine right now to fight for their freedom, fight for their sovereignty. But so they're trying to get a lot of people off of the train that, shouldn't be on the train. And so there's just a lot of chaos going on right now with that. So the train seemed to be a little delayed, but I think at this point it's on its way to Poland. So hopefully they'll be seeking asylum in Poland. And I think from there they might go to France, or maybe they'll come to the States. I don't know. But the bigger picture is it looks like there's some good news for them. Our thoughts and our hearts go out to everybody in Ukraine who's there and everything they're going through, and even the people in Russia, right? A lot of the people that are protesting, and a lot of the soldiers, part of the Russian military, they may not believe in what's happening, but when you're part of the military, you essentially do as you say, and so there can be a little bit of a conflict there as well. So just a lot of chaos in the world. But also the second thing I want to talk about on a whole different topic. Tonight, I'll be participating in the CrossFit Open. I don't know if any of you guys do CrossFit, but if you happen to do it, let me know down below what your score is going to be for 2022.1. I'll be doing it at 7 p.m. tonight, so I'll let you guys know what my score is. I imagine some of you do CrossFit, so if you do, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, ignore this. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at this article, and let's see this competition from Ford. So the headline reads, Ford CEO Farley, no plan to spin off EV business. Okay, so we all knew about the rumors with that, right? So let's scroll down here, and I highlighted some things that I thought were notable. Ford Motor CEO Jim Farley says the automaker has no plans to spin off its electric vehicle or internal combustion business, but is reinvesting itself by removing costs and ramping up large-scale EV and software sales. I highlighted this because I think it's hilarious how GM and Ford, all these companies, are trying to highlight software sales, right? Meanwhile, you don't see Tesla ever doing that, right? They're going to try, I can tell you what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to nickel and dime people for every little thing. I saw an article yesterday about GM where GM plans to have a subscription where the software will tell you when you need maintenance. It's like, really? That's something you're going to charge people for? That's not something that's just going to be included? I mean, it reminds me back in the day when enterprise servers used to get charged to be able to have high availability, or charged to be able to have vMotion from one host to another host, right? Like, these are table stake things. Maintenance, your car telling you it needs maintenance, that's table stakes. Like, it's ridiculous you would charge someone for that. Farley told the Wolf Research Virtual Global Auto Technology Conference February 23rd that the company could hit Tesla-like profit margins by using common electric motors, electronic components, and other parts across all size vehicles. But to do that, Ford needs radically different human talent than it now has, Farley said in a surprisingly candid interview with the analyst. Okay, so let's break that apart because that was interesting. So on the one hand, he's saying that Ford could have Tesla-like margins by using common electric motors, electronic components, and other parts across all sizes of vehicles. Okay, so it's that easy. That's all you would have to do. And let me just bring this up real quick. I'm going to do a video this weekend about motors with regards to Tesla. It's going to be a little more technical, so if you're interested in that, check it out. I'll probably do it Saturday. Maybe I'll do it Sunday. One of the days I'm going to do a video on Cruise and their ADAS system, and then another day I'm going to do the motor. So just keep an eye out for those videos. They're going to be a little more technical. But then he goes on to say, but to do that, something so simple, to do that, Ford needs radically different human talent than it has now. Radically different talent. So what you're saying is, hey, Ford, the company that has all the union workers, the UAW, right? The union workers that Biden, everybody is celebrating and that we need good union jobs. Well, Ford is sitting here saying that they need radically different talent that they don't have here. So what does that mean? Like, what are the telltale signs that indicates for the future? Well, to me, it means moving away from union workers and needing talent that Ford just doesn't have. So to get to Tesla-like margins and sales and all that, not only do they need to figure out how to get all these components that are so common, put them together, and deliver a vehicle, but then they also need all this other talent to make that happen. I don't understand that. Why do you need this talent you don't have if it's just these common components, these common parts? Like, it seems weird. That seems to contradict itself to me. Farley said in a surprisingly candid interview, okay, he also said the company has too many people and too much complexity, and it doesn't have the expertise to transition to battery electric vehicles. Again, what happened to common electric motors and electric components? That's all they need. But now he's saying that they have too many people, too much complexity, and they don't have the experience to transition or the expertise to transition to battery electric vehicles. So it seems like it's not just about the common components, the motors, the electronics, right? There's more to it than that. And again, he goes back here saying they have too many people, unions. What's going on with that, right? And then too much complexity. That I agree with. Every company has too much complexity. Even Tesla has too much complexity. You can always find somewhere to trim fat and get more efficient and get leaner within the company. So that part I think that's a blanket statement for any company, but a company like Ford, they're bloated. And then saying expertise to transition to battery electric vehicles. Again, they make it sound like it's so simple. This has been the narrative from everybody about the competition is coming. Everybody has said this nonstop. Everyone thinks, all these OEMs, they know how to manufacture vehicles. They know how to have low panel gaps. They know how to put a vehicle together. They already have the plants. They already have manufacturing plants. All right. All they have to do is get rid of the internal combustion engine, right? Get rid of the motor, right? And just slap in a powertrain that's based off of a battery. Put a motor up front, motor in the back. Boom, we're done. Yeah, not so simple at all. Especially when you're trying to compete against a company that's doing essentially everything in-house and completely vertically integrated. So in other words, to stick with your same process of how you do things now, where you outsource even the smallest things like making your chairs for your vehicle, making the seats, you outsource that. And Tesla's vertically integrating everything. Tesla makes their own seats down to something so simple as that. Tesla makes their own motors, right? They make their own inverters. They make the PCB boards, right? They do everything so vertically integrated. It's insane. So this is why people like myself and others, and I'm sure you as well, when you talk to your friends, your minds, you just have like gas or steam coming out of your ears saying, people, you don't understand. The company's making their own PCB boards, for Christ's sakes. They're making their own seats. Right? What other companies do this? None. They outsource it. They all outsource all of this. That's the simple answer. There's waste, he said. Ford, Farley said, can't just pivot from internal combustion engines to battery-powered vehicles. Really? Because all the announcements have been saying that they can. Same with GM. The internal combustion engine organization is good at body, paint, and manufacturing and would be envied by startup EV makers. So what he's saying here is that they're good at these three things: at body, so putting the vehicle together, low panel gaps; paint, okay, painting vehicles; and manufacturing, which I would argue they're not good at manufacturing, at least not compared to Tesla. But I can't turn to the ICE organization and say, go be Tesla. They may do it on the auto body, they may do it on the plant operation, but that's not good enough, he said, without giving specifics of what changes are coming. And again, not good enough, it means that it's not just these three modalities. It has to be everything, and it all has to work together in concert. That's what a lot of people miss. I think I was actually just on a call recently with a prospect for what we're trying to re-architect something for their environment. And they're so focused on one thing. All they cared about was how many IOPS can this deliver for me? And what they were missing was, certain things like SQL Server. Sorry, I'm going to get a little geeky here on you guys. But something like SQL Server in databases, it's not all about the IOPS, right? There's more to it than that, right? You have memory to think about, right? SQL loves to eat memory, just like LiDAR, by the way. It's something funny. I always think LiDAR and I think of SQL, the same thing. LiDAR loves to eat up batteries, right? It loves to consume a lot of energy. So does SQL Server or SQL databases, right? They love to eat up memory. Anyways, but so, he was just so stuck on IOPS. That's all he cared about. He didn't think about anything else. He didn't think about CPU scheduling. He didn't think about how much memory he was going to have. He didn't think about L3 cache. He didn't think about how many VDisks does he have associated with the database itself, right? Can we sparse it out? Can we sparse it out? How many iSCSI connections do we have? I mean, it goes on and on, but to focus on one thing is silly. And that's what Jim Farley's saying here. Yeah, maybe they can make the body amazing. Maybe they could Tesla the body. Sure, maybe. But it's everything else. It's all the things you don't see. It's the software. It's the electronics. It's the motors. It's the machine that builds the machines, right? It just goes on and on. It's not good enough, to quote Jim Farley here. Ford has only 15% of the market in the US. So the transition to battery vehicle is a chance to attract new customers. So that's specifically from, I guess, the writer's perspective. The way I read this is Ford has only 15%. They can't risk to screw up and get rid of the ICE vehicle, right? I mean, it's that Osborne effect. That's how I read this. This is a risk to me, absolutely. But they're trying to spin it saying, oh, they only have 15%. Maybe they can get 20. Maybe they can get to 30%. I don't see that happening. But Farley said it needs to make the buying process simple and all online with no inventory in the system and home deliveries of the vehicles. Okay. Again, everything that you see people like Biden mock Tesla for and things they don't like. We just got done essentially watching or hearing Jim Farley say that they have too many people, they don't have the right talent, right? So essentially it looks like they're going to be moving away from the UAW. And then now he's talking about, oh, we need to be able to buy vehicles online and have home deliveries. Oh, so now you're also with Tesla and gain away from the dealership model. Interesting how this keeps happening. Interesting how this keeps changing, isn't it? Ford's distribution costs are $3,000 to $4,000 higher than Tesla's, Farley said, and is seeking to close that gap by attracting new talent with those skills. They're going to close that gap by trying to get rid of dealerships. That's what's going to happen. They're going to try to close that gap by opening up new manufacturing plants in areas where maybe unions aren't the priority. Hint, hint. Look what's going on right now down in, Kentucky? Neither Ford's internal combustion business nor its electric vehicle operations earn as much profit as they could, Farley said. The company needs more talent to lower structural costs and raise quality in its ICE business and cut the cost of materials for electric vehicles, he said. So you can see what I highlighted here. Raise quality in its ICE business. Again, for those of you who keep saying that the competition is coming for Tesla, this is the part that you're all missing. These companies cannot get away from ICE vehicles. Even here, we have Jim Farley saying that they need to raise the quality of the ICE business. What they need to be doing is transitioning to electric vehicles as fast as possible and stop investing in the ICE business. That's what they have to do. It's going to suck. It's going to be painful, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. It's much like the current market environment. Right now, the stock market, it's painful. It's ugly. It's not fun. But guess what? In the long run, in 5 years, in 10 years from now, we're all going to be looking back on today, on these past couple months, thinking, wow, what an opportunity that was. Or, wow, I'm so happy I stayed in. Or, wow, I can't believe so many people decided to sell everything and then they were out of the market and they gave up on Tesla. And here we are at $2,000 to $5,000 a share. Or in 10 years, maybe we're at $10,000 to $15,000 a share. Right, people, this is life-changing investments, but it hurts right now. And it's going to have to hurt for all these OEMs in order for them to make that transition to EVs. They have to do it. They have to swallow the pill. There's no other way. And to keep investing into the ICE vehicle business, look, I get it. That's your main source of revenue, which it actually isn't, right? I think by now we all know that service is where they get the main source of their business, not from actually selling vehicles. So there's just so much complexity there, but it just shows you how inefficient and unprofitable automakers really are. That just highlights how amazing it is what Tesla is doing. So this is funny. The company also can differentiate itself by doing online software updates so that the customer understands how their vehicle is changing, and it needs to keep service customers so if they have a fender bender or a problem develops in 4 or 5 years, they can stay within a simple Ford system, Farley said. Let me just point 2 things out here. Differentiate itself by doing online software updates. Who are you differentiating yourself from? You're trying to become a Me Too company to copy what Tesla's been doing since 2012? Like, where's the differentiation? You're a decade behind on this. So software updates, what's your update? You guys can't even do firmware updates right now. Like, it's ridiculous. You have to have people come into your dealership. So don't understand that. And then I love this. And they want to keep service centers or service employees essentially so they can stay within a simple Ford system whenever they have issues in say 4 to 5 years. That's their model. Now listen, I know this is kind of a sore spot for a lot of Tesla owners when it comes to service centers. Some people have bad experiences. Some people feel there aren't enough service centers. Okay, Tesla's working on that. They're ramping it up. But here's the fundamental difference. Farley, CEO of Ford, he's trying to think about it with a perspective of in 4 or 5 years when they need service or if something happens, right? Essentially, he wants to plan out for service because it's such a big part of their business. Whereas Elon has the perception of, look, if you have to come in for service, then something went wrong, okay? The best service is no service. He doesn't want you to have to come in for service, right? All right, maybe your tires, maybe your brakes. Other than that, he doesn't want you to have to come in for servicing your vehicle. If that's the case, then they didn't build as quality of a product as they wanted to. So 2 different ways of thinking. Farley saying 4 or 5 years, you'll come in, we'll be able to charge you for all this service. Oh, we'll be able to charge you for these differentiating software updates, right? We don't have that with Elon. We don't have that with Tesla. Whole different mindset. And I think that just speaks to the culture, right? That's the big difference here. He said also the company is working hard to secure raw materials such as lithium and nickel to make EV batteries and to expect more announcements in the coming months. That's all we heard from all these manufacturers. Announcements. And I'll give Ford some credit because at least Ford delivered 27,000 electric vehicles this last year with the Mustang Mach-E. And look at GM. GM delivered 26 vehicles? 26 in Q4? Like, that's ridiculous. So if you think Ford looks bad here, GM looks even worse. So we'll just use this as a way to understand GM, right? And this is coming from Ford, who will at least acknowledge where Tesla is in the comparison. I know I'm being harsh here and trying to be and I'm criticizing this pretty hard in my opinion, but this has to be said, especially with all of the rhetoric out there right now, right? I'm sorry, I'm calling it out for what it is, and I'm not even reading between the lines. I'm reading the quotes from Jim Farley, and I'm just challenging them, right? This is nothing different than what I would expect a reporter to challenge. If I was a reporter, I would say, what do you mean differentiate? From who? Tesla's been doing this. I don't think that's too harsh. But then you go to GM and you see that they want to nickel and dime people for every little thing they do. Bloomberg News on February 18th reported that Ford is looking at ways to separate its electric vehicle business from its legacy combustion operations to earn the kind of investor support enjoyed by Tesla. But Farley said February 23rd, that's not happening. We have no plans to spin off our electric business or our ICE business, he said. It's really more around focus and capabilities, expertise, and talent. Again, I hate when I see stuff like this from reporters. I'll just read this again. to earn the kind of investor support enjoyed by Tesla. Tesla does not have the valuation they have because people believe in what's going to happen at this point. All right. Tesla has over 30% automotive gross margins. 30%. Tesla is printing money left and right. Tesla is extremely vertically integrated. All right. Tesla is doing things nobody else can do, and Tesla's doing all this while also encompassing the costs that they'll need for full self-driving, for level 5 autonomy, right? All the cameras, all the hardware, it's all baked in. So it's not even close. And don't forget, Tesla essentially has no debt. Tesla is just building a bigger and bigger bank account right now, right? They're just stacking money left and right. They've got new gigafactories about to open. Shanghai, we just heard about that, about the expansion there. So no, it's not the same. And don't forget, they have the first mover advantage. They're leading the advantage. The 4680 battery is complete now. It's viable. They're going to start ramping this up. I mean, it's not even close, not even remotely close. The idea to make it sound so trivial that all you have to do is spin out the EV portion or the ICE business, and then all of a sudden you get all this value because it's what happened to Tesla. Like that is such a shallow way of understanding this and of thinking. So, while I'm happy that who wrote this, I'm happy that Tom Krischer got these quotes and put this together. The logic and the thought behind the words in between the quotes, I thought was a very poor understanding of where we are with electric vehicles, the automotive industry, especially with the business of Tesla. People still don't get it. I don't know if people ever will get it, but eventually Tesla will be at a $3,000 to $15,000 share company, depending on what time horizon you're looking at. Eventually, Tesla will solve full self-driving. Eventually, Tesla will be selling fives of tens of 20s of millions of vehicles per year, and then maybe people will start to get it. But then again, who knows? Maybe at that point, people will still say, "Oh, Tesla is overvalued." Right? It's the same narrative, no matter what the company is. All right. Well, we're going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, let me know if you are a CrossFitter. Let me know what your scores are tonight. I'll let you know what mine is. Also, don't forget, we do have a merch store, so feel free to check that out. Again, the link for it is down below in the description. And as always, it helps the channel out. So if you don't mind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all, and check out our videos from this weekend, or that we're going to post this weekend. They're going to be a little more technical. We're going to talk about motors, and we're going to talk about the ADAS system when it comes to cruise. All right. Love you all. Peace.